Okay, so we should be live now. And guess what? As always, let me just share everything on social media so we guys get an up-to-date, not up-to-date, but so you guys, any of you guys, get notified on via social media. Okay, so it sounds right, and we're good to go. So I'm copy pasting this link and I'm waiting for LinkedIn to do its magic and post. Everything looks all right. Okay, so it's posted. It's already shared on social media. Okay, so we're good to go. Okay, so weird stream or different stream today because we're doing a long stream, probably like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. It depends on the workload and it depends on what we're able to do today. Yep. So yeah, it's different because I normally don't do streams on weekends, but for today I made an exception, and probably tomorrow if this is a short stream, I'll probably stream also tomorrow. But anyways, I'm doing a stream today, and it's like kind of special because I have more time, and it's not like the evening. It's still like afternoon, so we have probably a bit more of energy to work and more time. Yeah. Before I continue, I should probably mention that today, what we're doing today, we're doing some exploration. What kind of exploration? Uh, well, MCP exploration. Yesterday, no, not yesterday, but on our last stream, we discussed why we're using an MCP. We discussed the new architecture's large design of like the this new version, not version, but this new way we're going to be building MINA. So yeah, today, last stream we also read some of the basics of MCP, like the core architecture. Um, I want to quickly skim through its core concepts and then get hands-on with introduction or a get started guide, a quick started guide. So let us begin, not before checking if everything looks okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. Everything looks okay. So let's go ahead and read some. Okay, so we read something about the core architecture. We didn't read everything, but we read what we needed to read. Uh, Okay, what about resources? Okay, so it says resources expose data and content from your servers to LLMs. Resources are a core primitive of the MCP that allows servers to expose data and content that can be read by clients and used by context for LLM interactions. Yes, so as if I'm correct, this is like read-only data. So yeah, they're designed to be application controlled, meaning that the client application can decide how and when they should be used. Really, different MCP clients may handle resources differently. For example, Cloud Desktop. Okay, so that would be our job to define how us as, or not us, but Mina as the MCP client will handle, or the MCP client we create handle the resources. Okay, so we could use it as context. We could include it in a RAG. We can include it in some kind of TTS response, etc. Or we can even I don't know, create some kind of feedback system and retrain models with data coming from resources. I don't know. I'm just spilling out ideas from my head. So yeah, okay. It says, okay, so Cloud Desktop, for example, currently requires users to explicitly select resources before they can be used. Okay, other clients might automatically select resources based on heuristics. That's what we're probably gonna do. Then some implementations may even allow the AI model itself to determine which resources to use. Okay, that's interesting. A hybrid approach, not a hybrid approach. I think that's more of a more intelligent approach, letting the AI resources, letting the AI determine this kind of stuff. It says server authors should be prepared to handle any of these interaction patterns when implementing resource support in order to expose data to models automatically. Server authors should use a model control primitive such as tools. What In order to expose data to models automatically, the servers should server authors should use model control primitives such as tools, which I guess um, are also part of the protocol, the SDK. Yep. So we might read about that later on. So it says overview. Resource represents any kind of data that MCP wants to make available to clients, and therefore the underlying LLM models. This can include file contents, which we want because we want MINA to be able to not only have a grasp but fully control your OS's file system independently of what kind of what operating system you have. Database records, not necessarily, but we could build some kind of integration for the database records, although that's more of a secondary feature. Unless it's a SQLite database, then it would make sense to implement it in the file system. No, not really, because database is database, although it's file system, we shouldn't. Okay, no, I forget about it. Databases, including SQLite, should be a- another implementation or another feature apart from file systems, or at least they can be related but not directly dependent on each other. Then API responses, okay, makes sense to connect third-party services. Live system data, configuring well, in Linux it's pretty simple because it's everything. It would be the same as file contents or your file system. But if you're using some kind of operating system like Windows, you get these abstractions and services in which not your system data is not stored directly in a file, but on some kind of abstraction. So yeah, makes sense. Then in screenshots or and images could be part of your file system. Log files, again, part of your file system and more. It says each resource is identified by a unique URI and can contain either text or binary data. Interesting. So okay, so text I would have expected text because text is text and to give context it makes sense, but binary data, that's a big thing. If it can have binary data, what kind of binary data? I mean, can you have like a custom binary data, like a custom binary format, or is it referring more to like JPEGs or images or MP4s, MP3s, standard uh, binary data files? And how does like the binary transmission? Okay, so it's gRPC. No, it's not gRPC. It's RPC, the communication between, it's RPC via uh, standard input output. So I'm guessing the binary happens again, the binary transmission happens through through standard IO. If it's not like an HTTPS or HTTP based MCP communication. It says resource URIs. Resources are identified using URIs that follow this format. Okay, makes sense. Uh, they have protocol host and path, similarly to, it's kind of similar to how URLs. They are basically URLs. I don't see how this looks like a URN, which is kind of different to a URL, but the same as the URI. So yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Okay, the protocol path. The protocol path structure is defined by the MCP server implementation. Servers can define their own custom URI schemes. Okay, So for example, if I create a MINA MCP server, which I like a management server for MINA, I could create a schema, a custom schema like MINA double dots, or how do you pronounce this? Like column, MINA column slash slash something. Makes sense. Resource types. Okay, now that I just mentioned that, that's a good idea to have like a like an MCP management server, so that LM can intelligently like call or call but manage or configure MINA. Makes sense. Text resources contain resource types. You have two types of content. You have text resources, which contain UTF-8 encoded text data, so Unicode data, pretty standard. These are suitable for source code. Okay. Configuration files, log files, JSON or XML or plain text. Okay. Then you can have binary resources. Okay, these resources contain raw binary encoded in base64. These are suitable for images, PDFs, audio files, video files, and non-text formats. Can it include like MS Word files, like docs files? I don't know. It says resource discovery. Clients can discover available resources through two main methods. Okay, interesting. Direct resource or resource templates. A service exposes a list of concrete resources via resources list endpoint. Which resource, each resource includes a URI, unique identifier for the resource, a name, a human readable name, a description, an optional description, which I'm guessing that helps the LLM, you know, determine like when to reach out for X or Y resource, and a meme type, which is also an optional meme type, but I would include it in most occasions. Then you have the resource templates. For dynamic resources, servers can expose URI templates and clients can use to which the clients can use to control valid structured URIs. It has a URI template which follows RFC 6570. No, I have no idea about that. Probably should read about it when I need to, not now. Then you have a name, which is human readable for the template. Then you have I don't know how exactly to use resource templates, but okay. Then you have reading resource. Okay, reading resources, which it's done by clients making a call to request resources slash read with a resource URI. The server responds with a list of resource contents. So it responds with an array of okay URI meme type. And okay, you're right, the meme type, and it could be either one of text, for text, or blob. Okay, servers may return multiple resources in response to one resources read request, not read. This could be used, for example, to return a list of files instead of a directory when the directory is read. Makes sense. Then you have resource updates. MCP supports real-time updates for resources through mechanisms. Okay, so what I'm how I'm viewing this is that it would make sense. For example, you have like MCP for my file system for my server, not from yeah, MCP server for my file system. It would make sense to be able to update the contents of a file or certain parts of the file, with via its via like the simple text voice command or voice command. So yeah. List changes. So there are two mechanisms, either content changes or list changes. On list changes, servers can notify clients when their list of available resources via notification resources. What? It says servers can notify clients when their list of available resources changes via the notification. So you can get notified whenever clients can get notified by servers when a resource uh, changes. Clients can also subscribe to updates for specific resources. Okay, so this resource updates, it's not a client to server way, but a server to client direction. So clients can subscribe to updates for specific resources. So for example, client can send a resource subscribe with URI, server sends okay, notification resource updated when changes. Client can fetch latest contents with okay, and client can unsubscribe with resources unsubscribe. Okay, example implementation. Here's a simple example of implementing resources in MCP servers. You have the MCP server, capabilities, list of resources. So the server set request handler for list resources request schema, and you return the resources. We resource contents. Okay, so request handler for read resource request schema list resource. Okay, so if you the URI, okay, if URI equals to that, then read that file and return that content. Okay, else you simply throw an error. Building like MCP servers seems quite easy, simple, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Actually, feels like very, how can I say, like, not the opposite of programmatic. What would be like, I don't know how to describe it, but it seems like very self-explanatory. There's a word for that, but I don't remember what's it like. Declarative. That's the word. It seems like very declarative. Building like this. It feels almost like UI. Uh, like hooks. Like okay, so I'm hooking into this request handler or to this other request handler. I like the API for the SDK. Okay, so it's best practice when implementing resource support. Use clear descriptive resource names. Include helpful descriptions to get LLM understanding. Set appropriate meme types when known. Implement resources when templates for dynamic content. Okay, so if I were to build like a file system MCP server, I'll probably build it based on resource templates and not resources because I don't want to index like my whole file system just for meme type, just to have them loaded on memory. It would make like the whole request or the whole process very heavy on the memory and on the request side of things. Use subscriptions for quickly changing resources, handle errors gracefully, consider pagination for large resources, cache resource contents when appropriate, validate URIs before processing, document your custom URI schemes. And security considerations, validate all resource URIs, implement appropriate access controls. Oh, that's a challenge. Like how do I implement an access control for my Linux system. Like, how do I abstract away the fact that you probably don't have the same permissions or the same mechanism for permission settings on my Linux desktop and a Windows machine. Then be cautious with binary, audit resource access, encrypt sensitive data in transit, validate meme types, implement timeouts, handle resources, consider rate limiting. Okay, okay, I get the idea of resources. Let me read about prompts. Okay, so prompts enable servers to define reusable prompt templates and workflows that clients can easily surface to users and LLMs. So they provide a powerful way to standardize and share common LLM interactions. Okay, okay, okay. Prompts in MCP are predefined templates that can accept dynamic arguments, include context from resources, okay, chain multiple interactions, guide specific workflows, surface as UI elements like splash commands. Um, okay. Prompt structure. Each prompt is defined with a unique identifier for the prompt. I would use probably UIDs, a human readable description, guessing for the LM, and some arguments, which you have which is an array of objects that have it's an optional array of objects that have a name, which is the argument identifier, description, and whether it's required or not as a bool value, as a boolean value. Then says that clients can discover available prompts through the prompt list endpoint. I'm not sure if I will have to write my own client, you know. That's I mean like would I need to why would I need to handle all this logic, you know? I'm guessing that there are already like existing you know like prompts for it, not prompts but with clients then and I can integrate them to a host which would be MINA. Clients can discover a lot of prompts through the prompt list endpoint. Okay, so you request prompt list and you get okay. So you have analyze code, description, analyze code for potential improvements, arguments. Okay, using prompts. So to use prompt, client makes prompts get request. You get a request prompts get to params and you prompt you get analyze code and you argument Python. Then you get a response. Analyze Python code for potential improvements. Okay, and in a message. You get a description as a response and a message, which is a user message of type text. Please analyze the following Python code for potential improvements. What is this? Why is like some kind of message from a conversation in the request in the response? You know, I would have thought that messages are used after 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 you got a response from the prompt template. Then dynamic prompts can be dynamic and include embedded resource context. For example, name, analyze project logs and code. Embedded resource context, what does that mean? So analyze project logs and code. Time period to analyze code. You're right to uh, while handling prompts get requests, messages. Analyze the system logs and the code with this issue. Type resource. Multi-step workflows. Constant bug workflow. I don't understand this. Doesn't matter. I'm not supposed to. Example implementation. Here's a complete example of implementing prompts in MCP server. Okay, let me read about this. So you get okay. So you define an array, not an array, but an object with prompts. You have git commit, explain code. For example, git commit generate a git commit message, changes, and you get as argument changes. And description is get data for description of changes. Explain code, which is okay. So I thought that the description for this, damn. Okay, no, I thought that the description for this prompts included the prompt template itself, but I don't see any kind of DSL for this. You have explain code, name, explain code, explain how code works, arguments code, code to explain, language programming. Okay. Okay, and then you create a server with capabilities and an empty prompt. And for when someone requests or requests the list for prompts, it returns the values of the prompt subject. And when getting a specific prompt, uh, get request schema, you get the name of the of the thingy. If you don't get if you get an empty thingy, then you throw an error. If it's something hard coded, you then return then the template, I'm guessing. Generate a concise but description. Okay. Okay, so the actual templates, the string templates for the prompts are defined in the request handlers. Okay. Okay. I would have thought they were defined in the prompt itself too, but it seems that these prompt objects are only like schema definitions, and the actual implementation of what's the content of each prompt template is or can be dynamically created via request handlers on the fly on request handlers, which makes sense because it eliminates the like the dependency of you know defining a prompt and defining the prompt values. So it makes sense. So best practice. Okay, so prompts are simple and easy to understand them. Use clear descriptive prompt names, provide detailed descriptions. Okay, cache dynamic content when appropriate. Probably should take a consideration here on how to cache, because caching, as in every software system, is hard. Caching can be difficult. So yeah, document expected arguments. Okay, test prompts with various inputs. UI integration. Prompts can be surfaced in your client UIs as slash commands, quick actions, context menu items, command palette entries, guided workflows, interactive forms. Yeah, makes sense. So updates and changes. Okay. So I get how you could like so how if I have let's say like a ChatGPT styled UI, then I could like get the list of clients and get like the list of clients, not clients but the list of prompt templates and fill them in order to uh, you know to present it to the UI would make sense. So it says updates and changes. Servers can notify clients about prompt changes with notifications, prompts, list changed, or the clients refetching the prompt. Okay, so you have a server capability of prompt list changed. Okay, okay, so so servers can notify client about prompt changes. Okay, so how servers notify about changes on prompts templates is by defining in the server capability. Prompts list change makes sense. So you can announce from the start, from the get-go, if in the future clients need to refetch or revalidate that the prompt has changed or not, then you can also subscribe to notifications over notifications slash prompts slash list changed which I guess then has like a list of prompts which have changed. Then client refetching prompt lists, which would be like the more manual work and the more client-heavy approach. Then security considerations, validate arguments, sanitize user input. Okay, so everything that's yeah, you normally need to do from the security side of things regarding I/O. Consider rate limiting, audio prompt usage, handle sensitive data appropriately. It says validate generated content, implement timeouts, consider prompt injection risks, and document security requirements. Okay, so prompts and resources, they're quite simple. I understand them. Now let me read about tools because this is a more interesting thing that I've heard of, Tools, for me, it's something like really interesting, like how am I triggering, how am I making an LLM model, how am I making it like make things instead of just how am I making it like not only, not read only. How am I making it integrate with other third party or external? How am I making it interact with the outside world, outside of the LLM's, understanding? So you enable LLMs to perform actions through the server. Tools are powerful primitive that in the MCP that enable servers to expose executable functionality to clients. So this makes sense why we're using JSON RPC. Through tools, LMs can interact with internal external systems, perform computations, take actions in the real world. Tools are designed to be model controlled, meaning that tools are exposed from servers to clients with the intention of the AI model being able to automatically invoke them with a human in the loop to grant approval. Yes, that's what I like, because it makes it more less like less like more like more dynamic, more intelligent. So as an overview, tools in MCP allow servers to expose executable functions. That's what we use in gRPC or remote procedural control as a protocol, and can be invoked by clients and used by LLMs to perform actions. Key aspects of tools include discovery. Clients can list available tools through tools list endpoint invocations. Tools are called using the tools core endpoint where servers perform the requested operations and return results. Flexibility tools can range from simple calculations to complex API interactions. I like it. Like resources, tools are identified by unique names and can include descriptions to guide their usage. However, unlike resources, tools represent dynamic operations that can modify state or interact with external systems. Okay. So it says each tool is defined with a following structure, a unique identifier for the tool. It's like a name, um, a human readable description, which I'm guessing it's used also by clients to feed them to LLM for discoverability purposes. Then a JSON schema for the tool's parameters. I'm familiar with JSON schema, so it's okay. I understand it. Two specific parameters. You know how I'm familiar with JSON schemas? The first time I used JSON schemas, or properly used for some kind of not production, but some kind of real world software. I was doing like this migration between two processes, and now that I remember, yes, I was doing this migration. I think I've mentioned this migration on the past. I was doing this migration between two cloud platforms. We were migrating 10, 12 applications, and one of the reasons, or one of the, you know, so this the first, you had these two cloud platforms with 12 or 10 applications, and um, Number one, the old like a cloud platform or the old set of applications was written in a DSL, in a JSON DSL. So I had to do some meta programming task to extract some data, and the way I did it was by leveraging the fact that it was like a JSON DSL language, and it could be defined via JSON schema. So I extracted like I got like the official JSON schema from the cloud provider, and in order to read this JSON, and this JSON DSL and do some meta programming on it. Yes, it was like my first formal approach with DSLs, not DSLs, but with JSON schemas, because I've used JSON schemas in the past, but not for any programming oriented task, or not for not manipulating them, only using them, or just underlying programs that use them, or underlying libraries that use them. And yes, so each tool is declined with a following structure. Okay, so input schema and annotations, which are optional hints about tool behavior. I'm guessing this helps LLMs. So this is more like it's giving hints to the LLM itself, which is being fed by the client, by the MCP client. So you get like a title, a human readable title for the tool. Then you have a read-only hint. If true, the tool does not modify its environment. Destructive hint. If true, the tool may perform destructive updates. So in that case, we're building a file system server, would be true. They have an idempotent, oh, I know how to read this word, idempotent hint. If true, repeated calls with the same marks have no additional effects. Okay, so this is like some kind of functional programming here. Okay, so repeated call, no, I don't meaning, so it says if true, repeated calls with the same args have no additional effect. Open world hint, if true, tool interacts with external entities outside of the tool, I'm guessing. Implementing tools. Here's an example of implementing a basic tool in an MCP server. Okay, so define available tools. So you list for the list tool request, you return this, you calculate sum, add two numbers together, and for the input you get A and B. And then again, as in the same as defining prompt templates, you only define like the schema itself on there, but on the request handler, on the request handler for the list, you define the tools, and for the request handler for the tool call action or method or function call, you define the actual implementation. In this case, if request params.name equals to like calculate sum, you sum and return as this content. Okay. Example tool patterns. Here are some examples of types of tools that could be provided. Some system operations, interact with the local system, run shell command. Okay. API integrations to wrap the external APIs. Okay. Data processing, analyze CSV file. I didn't know that you had like enum entities in JSON schemas. That's new. So what file path operations could be either sum, average, or count, if that's what I'm reading. Okay, so that's interesting. Then you have best practices when implementing tools, provide clear. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the same thing. Log tool usage for debugging and monitoring, consider rate limiting for resource intensive operations, implement proper timers, document things, keep tool operations focused and atomic, and granular, use progress reporting and long operations. For long operation, implement proper error handling, include example tool descriptions to demonstrate how the model should use them. Okay, makes sense. Then use detailed JSON schema definitions for parameters, and provide clear descriptive names and descriptions. Security considerations when exposing tools. Input validation, validate all parameters against the schema. Okay. Input validation, okay, validate URLs, sanitize file paths, prevent command injection, access control, monitor for reviews, rate limit, audit tool usage, and appropriate authorization checks, implement authentication where needed, error handling, don't expose internal errors to clients, log security relevant errors, handle timeouts, clean up resources, validate return values, tool discovery and updates. Okay. MCP supports dynamic tool discovery. I like this discoverability side of MCP. I didn't know that this was the way that MCP clients got to know like how to use MCP servers. I had an idea of it. It wasn't that far from it. So yeah, makes sense. So MCP supports dynamic tool discovery. Clients can list available tools at any time. Servers can notify clients when tools change using the notification slash tool slash list changed. Tools can be added or removed during runtime. Okay, and tool definitions can be updated. Through through this should be done. Though this should be done carefully. E- how when should I? What case? That's interesting. What case does updating a tool dynamically or the tool definition dynamically be worth implementing? What case do I need to have that? Interesting. Then there's error handling. Tool errors should be reported within the result object, not as MCP protocol level errors. This allows an LLM to see and potentially handle the error when a tool encounters an error. Set is error to true in the result. Okay. Oh, okay. I like errors as values. Has some MCP learned from Go probably, or from Rust or from all these modern languages when you don't raise exceptions, but do something more interesting like have them as values. More practical. I like it. So you said errors as you said errors. So error is true in the result and include an error details in the content array. Okay, so you get content and you pass an array for the error messages. So for example, a result perform operation, return context. Okay, and you try and do this. If it's an error, you catch it because this is um, the try catch mechanism that for some reason exists in JavaScript. That you catch it and return it as is error instead of returning the contents as the text. Normal text operation, you return again a text object but a description of the error. This approach allows the LM to see that the error occurred and potentially take corrective action to request human intervention. Okay, okay. So tool annotations provide additional metadata about the tool's behavior. Okay, helping clients understand how to present and manage tools. These annotations are hints to describe the nature and impact of the tool, but should not be relied upon for security decisions. Okay. Purpose of the tool annotations provide UX-specific information about without affecting model context. Okay. Help clients categorize and present tools appropriately. Convey information about a tool's potential side effects. Assist in developing intuitive UIs for tool approval. High-level tool annotations, so the MCP specification defines the following annotations for tools. You get title, which is a human reader for the tool, read only, okay, we already read about this. Uh, okay, if true, the tool performs the objective, okay, okay. Okay, so example. Okay, so again, it says I didn't read this all out, but I probably should. The title is a human readable title for the tool, which I already knew, but it says that it's useful for the UI display. So if I were building some kind of application with a UI focus or a physical UI, you know, primary interface for interaction between users and the application would make sense, but since Mina is mainly like activated via voice, or is that's the goal to have it activated via voice, it doesn't make much sense. So here's how to define tools and annotations in different scenarios. For example, a read-only search tool. This read-only search tool, I want to have a search tool, a web search integration with Mina, but I don't know if there's existing already like MCP servers for it. I'm hoping that it does. Like I know Brave has some kind of search thingy we could use, so it would be useful. So for example, okay, so you have query and web preserve, read only, open world, okay. And the structure, okay, so this is what I thought earlier. Destructive file detection tool, deletion tool. You delete file, yes. Read only hint, yes, and yes, and yes. A non-destructive database record creation tool. Okay, okay. Yeah, okay, so it says integrating annotation in server implementations. So, okay. Best practices for tool annotations: be accurate about side effects, clearly indicate whether the tool modified this environment or whether those modifications are destructive. Use creative titles. Okay, indicate in the how do I pronounce this word? In the in the I don't know how to pronounce this word. Let me check. At the input, uh-huh. At the potency. At the potency. Okay, so IDM potency, which means IDM potency means that when you call a function with the same arguments, it will have the same effect. Probably it will have no effect. So yeah, that's IDM potency, which marks us as IDM potent only if repeated calls with the same argument actually have no additional effect. Then set appropriate open-close world hints. Okay, indicate whether to interacts with a closed system like a database or open system like the web. Okay. Remember, annotations are hints. All our properties in tool annotations are hints and not guaranteed to provide faithful description of the tool behavior. Client should never make security critical decisions based on solely on annotations. Then you have you should test tools. Component testing study for MCP should cover functional testing, verify tools, execute correctly with valid inputs, and handle invalid input errors. Okay. Integrating testing tests to interact with external systems using both. Okay, so okay, variable authentication, authorization, okay, okay, performance testing. Okay, 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 interesting because these three next concepts I've never heard about. Sampling, routes, and transports. Transport, yes, but not sampling and routes. So yeah, curious about it. Let your server request completions from LLMs. Sampling is a powerful MCP feature that allows servers to request LLM completions through the client. So, having servers acting as clients, basically, enabling sophisticated agentic behaviors while maintaining security and privacy. How sampling works. The sampling flow follows these steps. Server sends the sampling, create message request to a client. The client reviews the request and can modify it. Client samples from an LM. Client reviews the completion. Client returns the result to the server. The human in the loop design ensures users maintain control over what the LM sees and generates. Sample request uses standard message format. Okay, so oof. Okay, so the simple message side of things and the messages array, it's clear. Whether it's for the user, the role, the assistant, then you have the type, the content with its type, and its meme type. Type data and meme type. Model preferences, hint, suggested model name, families, cost priority. What is this? Okay, I don't want to read this. This looks not boring, but a lot for a quick read. Let me ask for routes, and then let me read on transports, and let me just jump back to sampling whenever I need it. Routes, understanding routes in MCP. Routes are a concept in MCP that define the boundaries where servers can operate. They provide a way for clients to inform servers about relevant resources in their locations. What are routes? A route is a URI that a client suggests a server should focus on. Then a client connects to a server. It declares which routes the server should work with. What primarily used for file system paths. Routes can be any valid URI, including HTTP or else. Why is routes? Routes serve several important purposes. Guidance, they inform servers about relevant resources and locations. So this makes sense. For example, if I'm having like I'm talking with MINA and I want to see things from a specific, from a specific file path, and I'm telling the LM, hey, a list cd into slash dev slash ur slash dev, let's say, and then only instructed that, and then sometime after I did, hey, list my directories. Then I don't want the LM to list, to I don't want it to not to know where I want it to list the directories from. If the client provides root, then that gives some extra hints to the LLM on not yes to the server on onto the LLM on how or the to the MCP client on or to the server on what 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 directories to list. When a client supports routes, it declares the route's capability during connection, provides a list of suggested routes to the server, notifies the server when routes change if supported. And I'm guessing me as a server, not as a server, but yes, as a server developer could, define like how to process routes. For example, if I'm using a file server or a file system, I'm developing a file system server and I want to CD into some kind of, you know, I want to CD into, if I want to CD into something and as a client or as the host application, I could simply send the command, and if I have passed the root data or the routes data in the past, then the MCP server could already have that present and make whatever operations it needs. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so guidance. The routes serve several important purposes. Guidance. They inform servers about relevant resources and locations. Okay. Clarity route makes it clear which resources are part of your workspace. An organization multiple routes let you work with different resources simultaneously. How routes work. When a client supports route, it declares a route. During connection, provides a list of suggested routes to a server, notifies the server when routes change, if supported. Okay. While routes have information and not strictly enforced, servers should respect the provided routes, use route URIs to locate and access resources, prioritize for operations with route boundaries. Common use cases. API endpoints, project directories, repository locations, configuration locations, resource boundaries. Okay, best practices only suggest necessary resources. When working with routes, I use clear scripting name for routes, monitor route accessibility, handle route changes gracefully. Here's how a typical MCP client might expose routes. Your routes, it's basically you have a name and a URI. Okay. This configuration suggests the server focus on both local repository and API endpoint while keeping them logically separated. They have transports, which I'm more interested in reading to finally read this, you to finally get a hands-on, because reading lots of documentation is a little bit heavy, on the mind. So transports in MCP provide a foundation for communication between clients and servers, and transport handles the underlying mechanics of how messages are sent and received. Message formats uses JSON RPC 2.0 as a wire format. It is wire, but there's no wire actually. It's all, well, at least in our case, we will not be using, sending data over the wire. Everything over standard I/O. Transport layer responsible for converting MCP protocol messages into JSON RPC format for transmission and converting received JSON RPC messages back into MCP protocol messages. Okay. There are three types of JSON RPC messages received. Request response notifications. I want to see a video about, JSON RPC, because, I know how JSON RPC works on a high level, but, you know, never never seen like the inner workings of it, or, general like, not the inner workings of it, but, any specifics on, if you're not taking into account high level stuff like that's used on MCP and the LSP protocol in this case. So you have J request, responses, and notification request has an ID, a version number, a method, and parameters. Responses get again the ID, the me not the method but ID, a result object, and a version and an error code, which is optional. They have notifications, which are they all include the version number. Then you get the string and the parameters. So built-in transport types, MCP includes two standard transport types. You have standard I/O. The standard I/O enables communication through standard input and output streams. This is particularly useful for local integrations and command line tools. Perfect. Use standard I/O when building command line tools. Implementing local integrations, needing simple process communication. I need this. I need simple process communication and working with shell scripts. So, for example, okay, so this shows like how to set that. So you set the server, the version, capabilities, routes, whatever. Then you define a transport, which in this case is a standard I/O, and you server.connect via this transport. Okay, so the client would, how would the client act here? Const client, you create a client, and you create a new transport again, and you can, okay. Okay, so clients can start directly like the servers. Interesting, interesting how clients can directly start servers by simply having, a location for where they, or not location, but the command to execute them if they were a CLI command. Okay. SSE or server-side events transport enables server to client streaming with HTTP posts. Request for client to server communication. We are not using this because we are a local first. We do not need all the overhead of HTTP. So yeah, use SSE when only server to client streaming is needed, working with restricted networks, implementing simple updates. Security warning, DNS. Okay, I do not care about this DNS written by the attack since we will not be using SSE or HTTPS for that matters, maybe in the future. So I won't be reading that. Then custom transport. MCP makes it easy to implement custom transport for specific needs. Any transport implementation just needs to conform to the transport interface. Okay, you can implement custom transport for custom network protocols. If I were to use some kind of network access, but we're not using network because the network has lots of overhead, specialized communication channels. I don't know what kind of specialized communication channel would be. Maybe if I need some kind of network access and I think that, HTTP it's like very slow and I want to do some kind of custom like UDP protocol, I would understand it. But again, it's not that efficient and it's not like it doesn't work with our needs. Network calls are very expensive on resources, and standard audio fits perfect with our needs. Integration with existing systems, don't know, and performance optimization. Again, what I just described of using UDP, some kind of UDP protocol instead of HTTP, the regular HTTP, like the 1.0 or the 2.0 that uses only, TCP/IP, not HTTP 3.0, which I think, not 100% sure, but I think it uses HTTP, no HTTP, but quick as the transport layer protocol as layer 4. You have like network, transport, and application layer, and the transport layer is like this quick, which is a custom protocol or specification that I think lays between UDP and HTTP. Not complicated stuff, but new stuff. If you want, we could, well, not if you want, but we could see about it later because it's really interesting how it works. Okay. Okay, so custom transports. Okay, so again, transport is an interface, so it could be easily implemented, start, send, but okay, it's like a really simple interface. Now, error handling. Okay, on transport. So this is more of a transport layer, you know, handling of errors. Okay, okay. Example transport. Okay, so transport implementation should include various error scenarios, connection errors, message parsing errors, protocol errors, network timeouts, and resource cleanup. Example transport. Okay, so connection errors. So as best practices, handle connection lifecycle properly. Okay, that's an issue we will not be facing since we will not be creating any kind of custom, implementation for, transports. I think that standard IO fits our needs for now. And yes, handle connection lifecycle properly, implement proper error handling, clean up resources and connection flows. Okay, it doesn't matter. Security considerations when implementing transport, authentication and authorization. Validation of client credentials, token handling, secure token handling, and implement validation checks, data security, TLS, I'm guessing for things over TCP, maybe UDP, or over the regular TCP IP stack transport layer. Accuracy to data synthesizing. Okay, so debugging transport, implement enable debug logging, monitor message flow, check connection state, validate message. Okay, I think we're good to go with documentation, and why don't we go ahead and make a quick start. You know, okay, wait, we didn't read this. Okay, so we didn't read this. Why not? Okay, now, why does MCP matter? Okay, I think we already know how MCP works. So we're skipping the FAQs, you know, and we should. I would like to experiment with MCP like by myself before, like creating an actual MCP server client. I know I can use Claude's desktop. Interesting. How about, okay, by the way, before exploring that, I want to read about these clients and server examples. So it says the list of example servers and implementation. This page showcases various MCP servers that demonstrate protocols, capabilities, and versatility. These servers enable LMs to securely access tools and data sources. Okay, these official reference servers demonstrate core MCP. Okay, data and file system. Okay, so you have a file system. Okay, okay, perfect. We wouldn't have to build any kind of file system server, a PostgreSQL, a SQLite, a Google Drive, perfect. Uh, okay, Brave, Fetch, and Puppeteer. I think Brave's like a free tool. So yeah, productivity and communications, Slack, Google Maps. Okay, so you got a memory, knowledge graph-based persistent memory system, Google Maps, AI, and specialized tools. Okay, this memory server. A basic container of persistent memory using local knowledge graph. This lets Cloud remember information about the user across chats. Again, yes, this makes sense. Every rack system, everything is done uh, via MCP servers. AI specialized tools, AWS KB retrieval, sequential thinking, official integrations. These MCP servers are maintained by companies and their platforms. Stripe, Prisma, NeonDB, Cloudflare, E2B, Browser Stack, Browsebase. Community highlights a growing ecosystem of community development servers extend MCP capabilities. Spotify, okay, I like this because I use a lot of Spotify and I would obviously would like to integrate Spotify with MCP with MINA. Docker on Kubernetes, why not? I guess. Snowflake, don't really use Snowflake. Okay. To use Nginx with Cloud added to your configuration. What? Zapier MCP. Connect your AI to any app with Zapier MCP, the fastest way to let your AI interact with thousands of apps, no complex API integrations. Poof. Okay, so it's paid service. Okay, no thanks. Okay, this looks promising, you know. This looks promising. What about clients, you know? A list of applications that support MCP integration. This page provides an overview of applications that support Model Context Protocol. Each client may support different MCP features following for varying levels of integration with MCP servers. This is where I'm curious because I don't know if I need to develop my own client. You know, oof, okay, we do some research. Okay, so oof, okay, agentic flow, Amazon Q, CLI, Aptify. I don't know why it's Aptify, BAI. I don't know what's BAI. What is this? Build production ready multi-agent systems with in Python or TypeScript. Why BAI? Mm, no thanks. Claude Code, Claude Desktop app. Okay, not even Claude Desktop supports everything, you know. Claude Code supports prompts and tools. Claude Desktop app, which is the thing they said that they wanted to check out. They have Klein. What is Klein? Autonomous coding agent. Okay, I know what is Klein. No need to read about it. Then continue. Create and use customized systems in code. Again, another IDE assistant. Copilot MCP supports, okay, Cursor, Daydreams, Fast Agent, full multimodal MCP support with end-to-end tests. Emacs MCP. Emacs supports MCP. What? Define prompt and does MCP enable agents and workflows. Enables you to create and interact with sophisticated agents and workflows in minutes. It is the first framework. It's a framework with complete end-to-end MCP tested. Okay, so it supports Anthropic and OpenAI. It's only Python. I'm gonna save these for later. Why not? Jenkit Glama supports tools. Glama, what is Glama? Lutra, which supports 4 out of 5. Okay, there are hundreds of thousands of the same product but with different name. I swear to God, like literally, Lutra AI or whatever AI, HyperAgent AI, I know whatever agent, every single startup is trying to build some kind of, you know, chat GPT AI or MCP AI or you know whatever AI assistant to chat with whatever X or whatever Y. That is you know that's you can you know that's it's suffocating, you know, everyone trying to build the next thing and trying to not only trying to build the next thing because that has always happened, but trying to sell you the next AI thing. That's exhausting, you know. Why isn't there a free thing that people wanna share? Build effective agent using micro and super workflow patterns. Okay, I'm gonna keep this MCP use. We could use this looks again like another framework that we could use probably. OmniConnect, MCP Hub, OmniConnect, Copilot Studio. Really, Copilot Studio supports tools. This is a client. Mindpal. Okay, I want to explore all of this. Send. MCP hub.vim. Really? Vim supports MCP. Cool thing. Uh, or not that cool. Okay, no thanks. MCP hub. Uh, a powerful name that integrates MCP servers into your workflow. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, and it's written in Lua. Interestingly enough, I'm gonna also save this over here. MCP OmniConnect is a versatile CLI client designed to connect to various MCP servers using both standard I/O and SD transport. Okay, Mindful again. No other company trying to sell me an agent AI application thingy. Okay, unleash the power of your AI. Don't sell me things. OpenSUMI Core. It's a framework that helps you quickly build AI native IDE products. I don't want to build an IDE product. I want to build like a full Jarvis. It's an MCP client, supports MCP tools via MCP server. And it's written in TypeScript. Okay. Then you have Autumn, the terminal client for Olama. What the hell is this? Intuitive and simple terminal UI. Oh my gosh. I don't hate it, but it's like overcomplicating my CLI experience. I mean, like, huh, let me just CD into my home folder. I don't know, it's okay. Or really complicated stuff. Those don't really solve real world problems, you know. Okay, I'm gonna not criticizing here, a little bit criticizing here, but out of ignorance, I'm just saying this as like okay, that's the thing, you know, that's the thing that I dislike about modern software. You know, modern software don't people building modern software don't really solve real world problems or problems that haven't been solved in the same way but a different UI, let's say. Everyone's trying to build, you know, you can if you open a web, Twitter, whatever, or Reddit, whatever social media, if you open the internet, you'll find that there are like 200,000 startups building a ChatGPT replica to do X or Y thing, but you know, with a minor tweak. You know, why do you build that, guy? Why do you build that? Why don't you simply why isn't there as a unified, free and open source to use application thingy, AI, whatever software that can do everything? You know, it's frustrating looking all these you know all these different AI products, applications, startups, whatever, trying to sell you this new way of doing stuff, but in the end, it's like all the same. So it doesn't make much sense, you know. There's no innovation. It's just the same thing, but in a different format, you know. It's frustrating, you know, because
everyone's trying to, okay, so everyone's trying to sell you like this new AI thingy, and when you open the new thing, it's only like an AI agent like ChatGPT or any of these AI assistants or agents, but with a minor tweak. And minor tweaks aren't, they aren't enough to, for me, they aren't enough to build or to justify a new product being built. I mean, why isn't it simply an integration to the existing product? Why isn't, ChatGPT modular enough to uh, to include or to swap modules or thingies or yes, like modules. So people instead of building their own replica of GPT or an AI agent that can do X or Y thing, simply integrated them into the existing one. And please be the existing one an open source free thingy. Please don't just don't try to bill me like $20 to use your AI agents because it can do X or Y thing extra that GPT doesn't do like natively. Like now I have to, if I were to pay ChatGPT also, now I have to pay GPT and I have to pay your product. Or maybe your product is enough because your product doesn't do everything that I require. Now I have to go to another product that's the same thing as GPT and as your product, but with another minor tweak. And that's the reason why we're building Mina here, because not having like a centralized single interface for AI, it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing in part, and but it's a good thing because kind of a good thing because lots of startups and lots of people are making some money on it. But in a practical sense, from a software, from an engineer point of view, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it to have a lots of different tools and different things to like, or lots of different AI things, lots of the AI agents, you know, that do the thing and an extra thing. I would 100%, I would 100% prefer that all that manpower and the software developers unify themselves and make a group. I don't know, like like a Discord chat or something or a Slack group, and talk things out and build like a single thing. If every single developer that has built like a different AI agent for a specific task, instead of if every single one of them, unify forces, let's put it that way, to build like a single LLM or a single AI interface for your computer, for computing, for the web, for internet, we will have like a really, 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 really great product, or not product, but software, because that's the problem. Everything is a product now. Okay, so everyone's trying to sell you like this product, this whatever. Everyone's trying to bill you, and everyone's rushing this race, this AI race for the new greatest and latest thing, and would be impossible for it to change probably because uh, money moves mountains and people move even more with money, and people are business is selfish. You don't want to share your knowledge or your money when you're a business. You want to make the most money possible, and yeah, that's a frustrating thing, and that's why we're building Mina, a local first, native first, private focus AI agent like Jarvis from Iron Man. Literally, that's the idea we're building here. So, come join me building Mina on my live streams. Bye. No, I'm gonna extract that thing that I just said, and I'm gonna make a video. Should make a video. I'm gonna publish it. Share it on social media because
although it might sound a little bit controversial, because it is controversial, maybe. Um, it's worth noticing, it's worth saying. It's my opinion, and uh, I think it's like okay, nothing. I was gonna say another thing, but yeah, uh, great, weird things. Nothing. I'm having lots of ideas about what I just said, but yes, again, this is another GPT replica. What is this? Set is okay. I've read about Set, so this is Textator. It's a next generation code editor designed for high performance collaboration with humans and AI. World class developers, you said. Why don't I use AI for actual development? Why don't I use GitHub Copilot? Why don't I use Set? Why don't I use whatever new extension for VS Code there is? Yes, I won't be maybe as fast as possible as the next guy sitting next to me when developing, I don't know, my React application or whatever. But guess what? I'm gonna get to know the code base. I'm gonna get to know the problem space. I'm gonna get to know every single line of code I write. And although I might not remember everything that I've written 2 weeks from now, I'm familiar with the concept, with the idea of what I'm building. And that knowledge that you have when you build the actual stuff instead of vibe coding my way through applications is trivial for debugging application, and that's why although you have like the the thing you have like the the advantage of being quickly and vibe coding when your application fails, you won't be able to debug it because you don't know your application, you don't know the what you know what you have, you only specify, you only prompted your way through um, through your code and you don't actually know about it. So when you want to change a feature and something breaks, okay, now I have to read this whole AI generated code base which I have no idea of because I simply prompted an LM model and it generated it. So also for the learning purposes, learning purposes, it speeds down absolutely every single type of learning you're doing while developing. If it's research, then you need for a specific topic and you didn't do research and you didn't read through the documentation and read how things work under the hood because you simply asked whatever code assistant to code whatever thing you wanted and took the time, you didn't take the time to learn the thing. You simply quickly ask your assistant to generate the necessary code. So from a learning side of things, you're not learning things, and that reduces value of you as it might sound harsh, but that reduces value of you as an engineer, as a developer, as a creator, as a whatever of our tech guy, because the value of us as software engineers, developers, whatever, however you want to call us, is our ability, like our skills to solve stuff and communicate stuff correctly. It's not our skills. It's not like our true value is not to prompt our way through our code base and generate lots of code. If it was that simple, you could simply pay any CEO of a startup and they would simply create like any kind like like any application or any idea they have without knowledge of even how I don't know like variables work or how simple arithmetic works. Yeah, that's why you probably as a future engineer or as an engineer for this new generation of AI stuff shouldn't use uh, AI. at least if you're someone like me that's trying to learn, that's more of like a junior mid position that you don't have experience, you haven't lived enough to have enough context in your mind to use. You don't have the seniority to leverage AI as most as you could. You're simply leveraging AI to solve and check the task in mind, not to learn the stuff under the hood, which I think it's the most valuable thing now, and in this tech market, what will be the most valuable thing, knowing the nitty-gritties of stuff, not being the prompter that prompts its way through uh, any kind of code base. So yeah, learn your stuff. Don't prompt. Don't prompt always. Just sometimes. And yeah, I want to extract also that thing that I just said, and I'm gonna make a video of it. I already have two videos. Great videos giving my opinions, strong opinions. Okay. Anyways, Witsi, what is this? Desktop AI Assistant Universal MCP client. Another MCP client which I don't really want. I don't want an MCP client. I don't want this desktop AI assistant. I want a simple unified thing. I want a simple single interface to build to interact with my system. I don't want to have multiple another. What is this? Build to keep your flow in what is this? The first agentic IDE and then some, because there are multiple. Everything is agentic nowadays. It's like the new buzzword. And it says the Windsurf editor is where the work of developers and AI truly flow together, allowing the coding experience that feels. Nuh-uh. What is this? I don't need a code editor. I need some kind of your personal AI workspace. The best chat for AI models. Try for free. What is this? Agent, models, prompt, plugins. Oof, this, oof, absolutely Anthropic. Okay, okay. I'm probably gonna read about this now. You said it says your code's new collaborator. Unleash Claude's raw power. Claude code. What is Claude? How does Claude code look? Is it like what is it? Is it really like CLI tool? It is a CLI tool. No, thank you. Meet Claude on desktop. I want to try this. Did you hear that? I want to try this. Did you hear that pronunciation? Weird. So it says Meet Claude on your desktop. Always there when you need it. Claude sits quietly on your workflow. Not tap hopping required. No tap hopping. Okay. Claude in your pocket. Okay, I want this, but I want it on Linux. I won't. Okay, I have to create a. Let me sign in on. Okay, let me sign in on Claude. I don't even have account for Claude, but no. So we have, okay, again, guess what? Not a startup, but a company trying to sell me AI products. No thanks. Let it be free. Let it be open source. I know you have tweet. I know you have a family to feed, but I don't want to pay for AI. I won't pay for AI, and that's why we're building this MINA thing. Because AI should be free, should be open source. Access to these models shouldn't really be that expensive. How am I gonna pay $100? Me from Latin America, knowing how the economy is, how am I gonna pay $100 for per month for AI thingy? Well, that's for 10 to 5. No, chat, web, iOS, and Android. Okay. Oh, how can I call you master? Call me master. Oof. Uh, okay. Um, okay, so this is Claude. I can't integrate it with style. What is this? Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, I do not have access to Claude, to the MCP things, because to run MCP servers, I need to uh, have the Claude desktop thing. But I think that's an Electrum app, so it would be easily installed in my computer somehow. Generate PDFs via with my name. Can I download this? Publish, copy, download as markup, save as PDF. Okay, no, no thanks. Oof. You know, okay. Okay, so this is Claude, but I want the Claude desktop. Claude desktop. Has anyone installed Claude desktop on Linux? So we have a Reddit post. It says, I used to be, okay. Especially given the app is an Electron, so not porting into Linux is pure laziness. Okay, I want to know if someone has installed. Okay, this is for Ubuntu, but I'm not using Ubuntu. I'm a proud Gentoo user. Uh, mm, System integration, option one, and quickly run. I scored an improved Nix flick. Okay, so there's a Nix thingy, but I'm not a Nix user. I'm a Gentoo user. I use Portage, not Nix. Uh, there's one for the AUR. You know, that's a thing I've been thinking lately because I get like all the benefits of using Gentoo as my system, my main like operating system. But then you compare it to Arch when you get the latest and greatest always, And that's it's like the trade-offs, trading off full complete granularity control, like the most granular control over my computer versus having the latest and greatest always. Yeah. So, oof. Let me check if any enthusiast and Gento user has ported this to Gento. Cloud Desktop Gento. Uh, Gento Linux. Can I install Cloud via Docker? Big disadvantage of being a Gentoo user. Uh, should I switch to Arch? Mm, don't know. I mean, I have these issues now where I can't really access Cloud Desktop in easily, but it's the trade-offs because why would I be installing Cloud Desktop? Okay, if I install Cloud Desktop, I would be probably using an account for Cloud, a third-party proprietary company or service that will probably use my data to train their model. So it makes sense to not let you as a Gentoo or me in this case as a Gentoo user install Cloud. Don't expose yourself by limiting your features. I don't know. Anyway, I want to see at least a tutorial of how people use Cloud Desktop to give me an idea of how to integrate, um, how to build my own client. Do I do this? I don't know. Maybe I should give it a try. Just okay. I'm okay. Okay, I will. Okay, I will give it a try. Let me see it into my home folder and PM electron. I just follow these instructions because because I really want to try this out. It's not the same as you know seeing someone on a YouTube video interact with Claude. Um, okay. I don't know if I have Rust and Cargo installed. It assumes that it does. And do I have? I've never developed with Cargo and Rust on this computer, so I'm not sure. I do have Cargo, so I'm guessing Rust compiler. I do have the Rust compiler installed. PNPM. I don't know if I do have PM. I do not have. I do not have PNPM. I don't really use PNPM. Might need to install it. So how do I really install PNPM? Makes sense. Makes sense that I have to sudo first. Okay. Okay. What I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna install npm, but not using you know, I'm gonna sudo emerge ask sys apps. I'm gonna emerge pn npm. That's how it's called. npm, and I'm gonna install the bin version. It's masked, so okay, let me visual into this, and simply let me come here and see is I need to unmask this pnpm. I need to unmask this package since it's masked via the AMD64 keyword tilde AMD64. Why? I'm, I think that if I'm correct, AMD64 or tilde AMD64 is a flag that masks packages are like very new, and they can break things. So yeah, I'm just doing that while somehow Electron gets installed in my computer, but it seems that it isn't getting installed in my computer. I'm guessing I could also try to install Electron via Gento. It would make sense. Uh, the util Electron, I guess. I guess I could. I could simply sudo emerge dev util Electron, which I don't know why, but I would think it's also masked by MD64. Okay. Maybe not now, or maybe let's see if I can install something without electron. So it says, okay, so this build script, let me read this build script because I won't be running any kind of build script if I'm not sure what it does. Okay, so okay, this cloud URL, you get the exe file, and okay, okay, okay. This script doesn't support my thing. It supports DNF for for I think it was Rel based OSs or Debian based OSs. Uh, okay, yeah, okay, so this might be a signal to not simply to not install this because poof, I mean I shouldn't install this. Really, I shouldn't. I probably just watch a video right now on how people use this and then get an idea of it. Probably would be even better because they come with clear ideas and don't go in there trying to develop or trying to replicate something, with that in mind. So yeah, I'm gonna forget about this. I'm gonna continue installing whatever I'm installing here. I was installing PNPM because why not? Might be using it in the future instead of playing out npm. What was this? Okay, okay, I was going to do two things. I was gonna watch a video about RPC just to get a clear idea about RPC, and then I was also gonna watch a video uh, about about Cloud Desktop. So let me check if I can share like audio in here. I don't know if you guys can hear it, so let me just check it really quickly. Let me open my volume. And what if I do this and I play this? I don't know why, but you can't hear it. Interesting, interesting, but not that useful. Let me try it again. Okay, um, okay, I'm guessing that uh, I'm guessing that either we read about it instead of watching a video, or we don't see a video because for some weird reason you don't hear it, and I'm not about to get into a troubleshooting uh, you know phase like online. So let's better quickly like read about it because why not? Why not? Sometimes it's just better to read. So RPC, why doesn't my keyboard work? Why isn't my keyboard working? What's happening? Okay, now it's working. Explained. JSON. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let me read this first article I got here. It says that RPC. I'm gonna quickly skim through this because I'm sure it would be boring if I read through all of this. Okay, so it's a well-established technology. Hmm, how to it solves an issue, which is how to execute a program remotely over a network. Okay, that's why it's called remote procedure control, or in other words, remote function call. Uh, okay, I think we'll get to know more the protocol when we get into some issues with it. Not now. And uh, oof. I'm gonna add subtitles to this because I really want to see this. So maybe I'll fix it in the future, maybe. But for now, I guess you guys can only read while I hear. Cloud desktop. I want to see like a cloud desktop. Someone use a cloud desktop. Uh, okay. Okay. No one seems to be showcasing cloud. Um, let me let me search for simply cloud desktop showcase. Someone has to be showcasing this. Okay. Okay. So, you know, I'm tired of research and whatever and reading. So I wanna get my hands dirty as soon as possible. I'm gonna save this uh, on my bookmarks to check them probably later. And I'm gonna go to a restroom in a couple minutes, then come back and follow the like the quick start guide for developing clients. Just wanna quickly read about this, just to double check I'm not missing nothing. So see, it's a MCP client for building agents using this thingy. hmm Okay. Okay. I want to read this. Okay, I just discovered this, and I want to read this when I come, cause why not? Mm, okay. Mm, mm, I'm gonna go to the restroom quickly, and when I come, I'll we'll continue with whatever we're doing. But first, I want to somehow like add a message, uh, so you guys know that I'm there. I will come back, but I don't know how to use. Okay, I do know how to do this. Okay, okay, rest, right back. My phone just fall, which is by the way, my webcam is my phone, so it just fell. Okay. Okay, I'm back, and guess what? I have unexpected news. First, I don't know if I've told you guys already, but whenever I do stream, I tend to work very slowly compared to when I work offline. So I will be ending stream just right now, almost in a couple seconds. Yes, in a couple seconds, I'll be ending stream and I'll be working offline because I do really want to progress in here and doing some research and some article reading like out loud is exhausting. Like vocally or orally, I don't know, my mouth hurts of not hurts, but it's like it feels tired of talking that much. So I'm gonna be doing some offline work as of now. Expect at least one or maybe two videos from extracted from today's stream. I think I wanted to extract my first opinion on I know I remember I talked about a couple things. The first was about AI companies and how there's not an AI agent, and the second one I think was about using AI for actual development. So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do right now is that first finish stream, switch the music because of copyright I can't listen to whatever I want. So listening to some music I do want to listen to, and then extract these couple videos, post them, share them online on my social media. Please like and sub if you aren't already. And then I'm gonna work offline on on Mina because I feel more productive when I do it that way. So yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye bye. Adios. Ciao.